Welcome to the Ozzie Award-winning Oswego Sports Update. I'm Josh Kay, and Adam, Peyton Manning is human. You know what that means, right?
The Buffalo Bills are going to the playoffs. I'm Adam Rupsick, and boy, do we got a good one for you tonight. Fall sport playoff, percentage talk, and a little basketball. OSU starts now.
You're watching Oswego Sports
Update.
For the first time since 2002, the Oswego State women's soccer team is headed to SUNYAC postseason play. The Lakers secured their berth after two huge wins this past weekend against Brockport and Geneseo. Okay, Adam, the question is no longer can they make it to the postseason, it's can they reach the finals.
Well, I mean, coming in, they were fighting for that spot. Now,
Sure.
a couple wins, they're in second place. They win this weekend, they can secure second place, secure that home field advantage, get a couple wins, get to the finals. 0-2, good year, 10, I believe.
Yeah, well, you know what? What I'm a little nervous of right now, they're currently in second place. So we know that the top two teams, they get a bye. Right now, they're tied with Oneonta and Cortland. Now, both of those teams, they've struggled against. Cortland, they actually play this weekend. Oneonta, they lost to. That was their biggest loss of the season. So they don't really hold many tiebreakers. But if you take a look at the standings, you'll see that there is opportunity for them to move to second. They could also end up even as low as fourth. Brockport at 10. They've got 2 games left this week. So it's going to be interesting to see where they end up.
Yeah, and we look down the standings here on the graphic, and you just see that really anything can happen. Three teams tied at second with 15 points apiece. Cortland tied Geneseo. Oswego beat Geneseo, and things worked vice versa earlier in the year. So really anything can happen. It's time to step up. It's time to do the nitty-gritty, time to get it done.
Right. Battle for the number 2 seed is going to happen this weekend against Cortland.
I mean, they have the weapons. They have Waterbury. She was on our show last week. Liatka, great, going to be up there on the SUNYAC, probably first-team SUNYAC.
Absolutely.
Great, have all the weapons to get it done. Now it's determination. This is the real close game. Got to get it done. Hold that second spot, and that's their best chance to make it to the finals.
Postseason push.
A lot of threes for the Oswego State volleyball team. They've won their last 3 matches. They've won 2 of those matches 3-0, and head coach J.J. O'Connell notches 300th win. Well, you guessed it, 3 SUNYAC games left. The ladies sit outside the playoffs. Josh, third time is a charm. Do they reach it?
You know what? From what we've seen here at WTOP Sports and when we cover their games, I'm pulling for them. They dug themselves a little bit of a hole by forcing themselves to probably have to win all 3 of those games, and 2 of them are against pretty good opponents. But congratulations to Coach O'Connell on his 300th win. The ladies are really rallying around them, and they're playing well now. It's going to be important to win. I think they have to win all 3, and then they're going to have Cortland lose all 3. Cortland also does have to play Brockport and Buffalo State, 2 of the very high echelon teams in the SUNYAC right now. There's a chance, and I like the way they're playing, but it's going to be tough.
Yeah, you got to pull for this team. I mean, going in, they just can't, in and out.
Yeah.
But talking about battling through adversity a few years ago, their total team change, coaching change. They come back, they rebuild into a respectable team in a tough SUNYAC division.
Yeah.
So going in, they have a chance to make it. Comes down to it, they have the weapons. They're in the top 5 in SUNYAC in blocks and digs. A concern, though, they have the most aces against them as a team, so they got to focus on that. That's a momentum. An ace gets momentum going for the other squad. Got to cut down on those.
You know what's really surprising to me? Every time I look at the standings for volleyball, is they're towards the bottom in the standings. But if you look at their overall record, they're 8 games above 500. You look at the teams that are around them, and they're barely breaking 500. It's interesting, and I hope they can pull it off. Another week and still no wins for the Oswego State men's soccer team. However, the Lakers did manage 2 points this weekend by way of 2 ties, including a tie against nationally ranked Brockport. All right, Adam, is there a silver lining to this season?
I don't know. I can't give you one. I can't give you one right now. The only one, I tried really hard to find one.
Yes.
And the only one I can give you, Patrick Sprague, their second leading scorer, is a sophomore. He'll be back.
You know what? A tie against a nationally ranked team, that's something to root for. You want to try to get that win against Cortland this coming weekend. It's their final game of the season. I don't really know if it's going to happen. I don't want to see a goose egg around their total, but, the inevitable. They just had no offense. They struggled so much this year. The reason why they tied somebody, they had 4 ties on the year, was because they couldn't put away games in the end, and they couldn't score that goal to really propel them to a win.
Could have been worse. Yes, they could have lost every single game.
Yeah.
They went in, had a few ties, double overtime. Those are tense games.
Yeah.
And they just couldn't put the ball in the net. They got to score.
Hey, they're young. Maybe next year.
Well, it's been a few weeks since we've talked about the Oswego State field hockey team, so let's give them a shout. Team is 1-3 in the SUNYAC, but with 2 SUNYAC games left, they mathematically could still reach the postseason. Can the team pull it off?
Yeah, there's an opportunity. Right now, they're 6th. They need to get in the top 4, and they have 2 to go. Oneonta is 2-2, and that's the team that they can catch. If Oneonta goes 0-2 in their last games, they'll have a chance. They did play well against Oneonta earlier in the year, so look for them to really have a shot. One person who's impressed me is Ashley Fioria. I think her emergence towards the late end of the season has really propelled this team to stay in a lot of games, and even though the record doesn't show it, you never give up hope. And that's what I love about towards the end of the season is we start to see a lot of teams in their playoff push. Can they get those last couple of wins? Can they sneak a spot in? And once they do, you never know.
Yeah, definitely down but not out. I think their advantage going in, they got those games at home, and they might be flying a little under the radar because they haven't had the best season. So coming in, putting this push up a little under the radar at home, get a couple quick wins, sneak in that playoff spot.
Absolutely. Great. All right, coming up on a Oswego Sports Update, we'll talk with our Athlete of the Week. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm CNN's Rob Marciano, and you're watching WTOP 10, your television station.
Attention students and faculty. Avery Rental Properties is now renting for the next school year. Avery accommodates all group sizes, small or large. Avery Rental Properties. Make our house your home. 24-hour maintenance, garbage removal, snow removal, and off-street parking. Avery Rental Properties. 315-343-5005.
Welcome back to Oswego Sports Update. Adam and I are now joined by a volleyball star, a phenom in her craft, Steph Bailey. Steph, thank you so much for joining us.
No problem.
So we'll start off with our first question for you is we saw you guys play this weekend. You swept both opponents you played. What's the sense and the feel going into the very important SUNYAC pool play this weekend?
We have IT, SUNY IT on Wednesday, so that should be a major, see how we do there and see how our energy is coming off of that game.
Right.
Seeing as how we go into SUNYACs. And then I think we could, like all the teams we've played, we could have beat.
Right.
But something just stood in our way at the time, like it wasn't the right time for us to win. But I think we could go 3-0 this weekend.
This game against SUNY IT coming up, I marked that down in my notes. You really need the momentum coming off of that one going in. Let's talk about like a weekend, a triangular tournament, 3 teams you go in and play. What's that like, having to prepare for 3 teams instead of just 1?
It's different because each team has its different defense and different things work against that different defense, and it's hard to keep track of, like when you're first going in, which spots are available for you to hit and or tip to.
Right.
So it takes a couple points for us to switch our thinking and momentum for which way we're going to play.
Right, certainly. Now let's take a spin back to a couple of days ago. Coach O'Connell got his 300th win. What was that like for you guys to experience that with him and to kind of have a full weekend of just triumphant victories?
It was good. He actually didn't tell most of us that it was going to be his 300th
Really?
win, so half of us were very surprised.
Yeah.
I thought it was the second game that was going to be his 300th win.
Oh, okay.
So I missed it. Feel really bad about that,
Yeah.
actually. But we're all really happy for him.
Good.
I'm happy that we could be a part of it.
Very cool.
So, like what Josh and I were saying earlier in the show, you guys maybe struggle a little in SUNYAC, but you're getting wins. You're well above 500 throughout the year, so you guys know how to win. You know how to get it done. Going in, what's your biggest focus going into this last push to get that good playoff spot?
Just play our game and play well.
Now, a lot of the stats that we see on the season, you're leading the stats and all of those. Are you looked at as a leader, on the court, and even when you're off the court, you're not necessarily one of the girls on the court?
I would hope so. Like, I try really hard to keep everybody up and keep the game going and just play our way. So
Very good.
So obviously, good on the volleyball court. Let's talk about now off. Student at SUNY Oswego. Tell us a little bit about your major and what you like to do outside of volleyball.
I'm a dual major. I'm an education major, childhood, and I'm also an English major. Because of volleyball, I don't really have time to do that much stuff outside of volleyball,
Right.
but I am one of my team's representatives for SAC. I have a work study. I work in a classroom 2 days a week with fourth graders, and I absolutely love it.
Right. So I'm trying to add up everything you just told me, and if I was doing that,
where's the
I'd
sleep
probably
come in?
Where's the sleep come in? I would not be able to do any of that at
I
all.
don't. I go to bed about 2 or 3 every night,
Yeah.
and I have to get up by 8.
Yeah.
So I really don't sleep a lot.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for taking your sleep time to come and talk with us. We'll get you out of here on this last question. What is the biggest thing that your team has improved on throughout the season? Because we saw you early with the struggles, then now you guys have really started to turn around. What's the biggest improvement you've made?
I think we just finally got the chemistry down. Because we brought in so many new players. It was kind of hard at first to figure out where everyone's going to be, how you worked with everyone else. So I feel that once we got that set, it all came together.
Yeah, certainly. Well, one of the most charming personalities, Steph, we thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to following you guys the rest of the season.
Thank you.
All right, coming up on Oswego Sports Update, we'll throw some stories up for grabs with Matt Jackson. Stick with us.
My first week home was great. We had a party.
2 o'clock in the morning, they were waiting for me.
My niece was waiting for me at the airport with a sign.
There was a huge sign across my front house, and it said, "Welcome home, Megan."
They lifted me up on their shoulders, and first week back, people just said thank you.
A new generation of veterans is coming home. Make a difference for them at welcomebackveterans.org.
There's a lot of talk out on the street about his mother, your mother, their mother. But in the end, is anyone really even thinking about them?
Attention students and faculty. Avery Rental Properties is now renting for the next school year. Avery accommodates all group sizes, small or large. Avery Rental Properties. Make our house your home. 24-hour maintenance, garbage removal, snow removal, and off-street parking. Avery Rental Properties. 315-343-5005.
Welcome back to OSU. Let's throw some topics up for grabs with Matt Jackson. Anything good for us, Matt?
How's it going, guys? Thanks for having me on. In NFL news, guys are dropping left and right. Big names such as Jay Cutler, Sam Bradford, and Reggie Wayne, which loss is going to affect their team the most.
Well, Reggie Wayne.
Oh, no.
I gotta go with it. I mean, and I'll explain why.
Sure.
Because he, obviously, the leading reception on Indianapolis, 38 receptions, 500 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
T.Y. Hilton, the second option there. But I don't think he can move into a wide receiver 1 spot. I think that young success right now happened because he was going against 2 corners. Now he's going to be in that 1 spot. He's going to have to go up against 1 corners, and the Colts need push.
All right, that's a fair point, but I don't agree with it. Andrew Luck is one of those once-in-a-lifetime quarterbacks in a draft class that had 2 or 3, just like a Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. He is a guy who can find other options, who can make things out of nothing, and he'll still be able to do it. I'm going to say it's Jay Cutler because you need a quarterback, and while Jay Cutler, most people wouldn't put him in the top 10 quarterbacks in the league right now, he's still a vital part of that team. Without him, they scratch for barely any wins. You saw what happened last year. They were 6-1, 7-1. Jay Cutler goes out. They missed the playoffs, and Lovie Smith is fired. Jason Campbell couldn't control any of that. Even though they have talent, the defense isn't what it is. They need Jay. I don't know about Reggie. I love the guy. I wish him the well. Hope he can get better, but there's no way it's Reggie Wayne.
I think the Colts will struggle.
You got Andrew
I
Luck.
think they will. No. Either the Colts will struggle or T.Y.'s fantasy draft going through the roof.
Why not Cutler? Why isn't Cutler a big
Cutler
loss?
does mean a lot to the Chicago Bears. They need him to win games. You said that. I agree with that point fully. I just think looking down the road, I don't think the Bears are going to make the playoffs. Even if Cutler's in, they barely make it if he played great. So with that, I don't think they're going to get in. I think the Colts definitely are going to win their division. They need Reggie Wayne if they want to go Super Bowl.
Who's going to throw to Brandon Marshall? Who's going to do it? They got nobody. It's Cutler. Cutler all the way. All right, what do you got, Matt?
As much as I hate to agree with him, Josh is right, I'm sorry. After the Indianapolis Colts took down the mighty Denver Broncos last night, 39-33, Peyton Manning looked human. Andrew Luck is looking like a star, and Reggie Wayne is now done for the year. Guys, what's the biggest thing you guys take out of last night's game?
You know, I'm going to surprise you here on this one, Adam. It's none of those things that Matt just mentioned, bless his soul. I'm going to say it's that the AFC is up for grabs. There's a blueprint that has been laid how to beat Peyton Manning. Andrew Luck, in his second year, is one of those guys who's actually doing it, who's actually has experience, and he's rallying his team around him to do it. That's huge because that gives life to teams like the Kansas City Chiefs. I can't believe I'm saying it, the New York Jets. Obviously, the Patriots are always there. And then whatever team
Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo. And whatever team comes out of the North. So it gives life to a lot of teams. That's the biggest thing I'm taking away from that game.
Okay, let's ease up on the breaks here like any ESPN analyst goes into this game.
You're calling me an ESPN analyst.
Hopefully someday.
Hopefully.
With this, Peyton Manning had a lot of pressure, wasn't able to control the offense like he usually is, which leads to his success. Still put up over 30 points on the board. Their defense. I take away Broncos' defense needs to step up.
Yeah.
They have a lot of playmakers on that defense. Vickerson had 3 penalties over 15 yards. You got to be kidding me on there. That's all in the head game.
Yeah.
That can't happen. Their defense needs to step up. I took from this game that the Broncos' defense, with the playmakers they have on that defense, should be a lot better than that.
I mean, that's all part of the blueprint, too, because, you know, what you do is you keep Peyton Manning off the field and you go down and score on their defense. I mean, Von's back, but really what is he do? What is he going to be a factor, if any? What do you got for us, Matt?
Jim Leland announced earlier today that he will be retiring and no longer be managing the Detroit Tigers. Guys, he's leaving behind a dynasty where guys like Miguel Cabrera, Justin Verlander, Max Scherzer, and Prince Fielder. He's got 1,769 wins in his career, 1 World Series, and 3 pennants. Guys, Hall of Famer or not?
I think he's got to be.
Yeah.
What a career he's put forth. 22 years. I think that's older than me. He's been a head coach of a manager of an MLB team. Won the World Series. He was always in the hunt with the Tigers.
Yeah.
He's doing things right.
You know what? He's on the fringe for me. I think he gets in. Hopefully it'll be his best year. Actually, his 4th best year was actually this year when he went 93-69. All but 1 year when he rebuilt Detroit did he have an over 500 record? Miguel Cabrera loved playing for him. They got to rally around a new manager, but absolutely, I think he's a Hall of Famer. All right, Matt, what else you got?
I got for the first time in 14 years, the two #1 teams in the American League and National League will be facing each other in the World Series. These two teams have a lot of momentum coming up into this matchup. What are you guys' thoughts?
All right, well, looking at the postseason stats for both teams, they're identical. We talked about Reggie Jackson and David Ortiz last week. How about we look at the stats for Boston and St. Louis? Both are around the same in runs, hits, RBIs, home runs. The one thing that St. Louis has is their ERA. But Boston, how could you not say they have the momentum? 2 game-tying or game-leading grand slams. Not even in the ALCS and the ALDS and everything like that. It's got to be Boston. As much as it pains me to say it as a Yankees fan, man, I'm going against my teams today.
Well, Boston, miraculous fashion to get those wins.
Yeah.
I give it to them. Good for them. But St. Louis, I think they got it. I mean, they start off almost going to sweep the Dodgers, a very good Dodgers team, almost going to sweep them.
Yeah.
They kind of fall, get a comeback, then they finish out strong. I think that finish out strong, that fall and the Dodgers' momentum stretch gave St. Louis, I think, okay, we need to start playing now. We're the better team. They put it on the gas. I don't think they're going to let up. They're coming in this one hot.
Those are fair points, but let's talk about it again. If you take a step back, who has home field advantage? Game 7 in Fenway, Game 6. How do you say St. Louis can win that? I mean, as a Yankee fan, I hate going to Fenway in the regular season because if you get into their bullpen and they have runners on base, it's going to get loud in there. They're on the field. As much as we're going to regret saying this, it's going to be interesting. I think they got the momentum.
All right, well, up next, we'll catch up with we already did that, Athlete of the Week. We'll go up for higher or lower, new segment, right when we come back. Have a good one. Great. Be back soon.
You got it.
Do you like this top? So gay. Really? Yeah, it's totally gay.
You really shouldn't say that.
Say what?
Well, say that something's gay when you mean it's bad. It's insulting. What if every time something was bad, everybody said, "Oh, that's so girl wearing a skirt as a top"?
Oh, you are.
Those are cute jeans, though. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
Got a good thing going, and I wanna see it end. Oh, no, no, no.
Hi, we're Real Big Fish.
And you're watching WTOP 10.
Like the number.
The mailbox and the traffic light. Both are ideas from the minds of African Americans. Support the United Negro College Fund, because a mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Honey? The credit fairy doesn't exist.
What?
It's make-believe. Nobody left anything under your pillow.
If there's no credit fairy, then we'll make our credit score go up.
We will. By doing things like paying our bills on time.
There's no magic to improving your credit, but there's help, and it's free. Go to creditfairy.org.
What?
Welcome back. Hey, Matt, what's the new segment you have for us?
Well, Adam, it's called High-Low. I'll give you guys a scenario. You guys tell me if the result will be higher or lower. Higher or lower than 2 teams from the NFC North making it to the playoffs.
All right, Adam, I've got higher. I'm going bold on this one. I say there are 3 teams from the NFC North. And here's why. I think they'll get healthy in time. A couple of these teams that we're talking about have some injuries. Green Bay right now, they're without their receivers, but guys are stepping up. Kenny Boykins, they've still got Aaron Rodgers as the quarterback, and they have a run game, so that's one. That's the division. 2, Jay Cutler. It's only 4 weeks. It's not the rest of the season. Their schedule's kind of light. They play Baltimore and Detroit in there. Those are divisional games. And I don't want to count out Detroit. I think if you put San Francisco in Detroit in a neutral site, they get it over San Francisco. I got higher.
I'm going lower. 1, Packers. They win the division, that's it. Other than that,
where are your wild cards?
Seattle wins the West,
Sure.
49ers the wild
That's
card.
1.
North, Cowboys will win the North, but look out. Bob Griffin's coming, baby. He's coming, my boy. Bob Griffin and the Redskins.
No.
He's looking good. He's going to turn it around. They're going to win those games. They're going to get that wild card spot.
Until his knee breaks again. Matt, what do you got?
Guys, higher or lower, the Buffalo Sabres get 20 wins this season.
Higher. Definitely higher. It's still really, really early. They're very, very young. I like what I see from this team. They go out there, they fight. They're not getting the wins, but they get over 20 wins. The season's so long.
Okay, I'm going to give you some stats, and then I want you to justify that again. 30th in goals. They score 1.2 goals a game. 30th in power play. So when they even have the advantage, they can't even score. How do you justify over 20 wins? I say lower. I say about 18 wins.
They're kids. They're kids.
They're trading away Vanek and Miller.
They're getting close. They're in the show for the first time.
Yeah,
Give them a break.
I say a few years.
Give them a break.
They're good.
30 wins.
I'm a
30
Sabres
wins.
fan, and I don't even
higher
think
than
that.
20. 30 wins.
Matt.
No shot. The 2-time defending NBA champion Miami Heat will have higher than 24 losses or lower.
Oh boy, this is interesting. I did the math on this. I say 2 losses in November, December, 5 in December, 5 in January, 3 February, 6 March, 1 April, grand total of 22. That's lower than 24. They're getting 60 wins again this year.
I'm saying they go 24 losses right on the dot because
You're
the West is so
It's a
good.
cop-out.
East, excuse
It's
me.
a cop-out
is
right
so good this year. Bulls, Pacers, Knicks, Brooklyn. Brooklyn, I have so much faith in Brooklyn. Even though they're old, who matches up with
Pick
them?
one, Adam.
5-on-5. All of them
Higher
in a
or
tough
lower?
Eastern.
Pick
Higher,
one.
25 losses.
Ooh,
25
he's
losses.
going bold. Oh my goodness. All right.
The show is almost over, so with about 2 minutes to go, we're coming down to the wire.
The first BCS poll has come out. Early picks.
Yeah, Alabama and Florida State definitely proved themselves this weekend. Kentucky is number 1 in the first poll for the 2013-2014 men's basketball poll. What are your thoughts? Who wins it?
I'm a homer, Adam. Syracuse, they got C.J. Fair. They're going great. I think they got a couple of good freshmen. They're picked second to finish in the ACC. They're going to run the table. Got to the Final Four last year. They're going to keep it going. All right, Adam. What are your thoughts on that?
Duke.
No.
The boys from Duke. They're too good this year.
No. How do you
good.
say Duke?
Too good.
How do you say Duke?
They have all the weapons. Starting Quinn Cook, Jabari Parker, Rodney Hood, Suleiman. They got you.
All right, World Series starting this week. Who you got in week 1, Adam?
St. Louis. I'm going with the momentum. Sad news in the NFL. Titans owner Bud Adams died earlier today of natural causes. Bud's best moments.
You know what? And it's going to pain everyone here who's a Bills fan to hear this, but you got to say the Music City Miracle, for him and his team to get there, that's really, I think that's a good thing. I'm getting dirty looks from everyone on the crew, but come on. He was one of the pioneers of the AFL League. Great guy. We wish his family the best.
I knew this was a bad idea.
Okay, Matt, where did we screw this thing up?
All right, guys, quick little facts. Brockport not nationally ranked anymore after a tie to Cortland. And also, Adam, the Cowboys and Redskins are in the NFC East, not the North. And back to the desk thing over there.
Yeah, you really screwed that.
I know they're not in the North.
You really screwed
They both make it from the...
Okay, what are you watching this week?
Preseason basketball because my fantasy draft's coming up.
I'm in the same league as you, and I'm not even worried about it yet. Okay, all right. What are your thoughts on the Giants now getting their first win of the season? It looks like it's 23-7 late in the fourth. What are your thoughts on that?
They had a down year. I mean, every team. Kansas City, worst team in the NFL, the only undefeated team in the NFL right now. I mean, it happens. It's a league of grown men, professional athletes playing. They had their down year, got a few bad breaks, couldn't do it.
Coughlin, is he the next Leland?
Apples and oranges.
Apples and oranges.
Coughlin and Leland.
Hey, you know what? You know what we're excited about, though? And we're excited to tell you about it. Starting next week, we're going to dive into winter sports. That's right. Oswego women's hockey, Oswego men's hockey, Oswego men's basketball, Oswego women's basketball. All of that coming up in the next couple of weeks. But that's all the time we have for tonight on Oswego Sports Update. Thanks for joining us here at WTOP 10. Have a great week and come back next week for another edition of the best Oswego sports banner around.
So for Brian Tosti, the creator of OSU, Blaze Hill, Matt Bishop, and Patrick Malowski, producers Dan North, Adam Rupsick, Matt Jackson, I'm Adam Rupsick, here at OSU. Have a good night, Laker fans.
Let's go, Laker!